KDB. KDB. KDB.
Beats Planet.
Here we go. Everyone, come on in. We ain't doing nothing else, man. We got another fantastic episode of Voch Lombardi Live, another top tier episode of Voch Lombardi Live as well. Voch, how you know your show top tier? It ain't even started yet. Arrogance. I don't know. But the real answer is I have many radio OGs, right? Opie and Anthony, Black Phillip, Jamie Foxx, Bomani Jones. I look up to all those guys in radio land. And Opie and Anthony always said, man, listen, it could be Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday, your shows could have been bangers. Best shows you could have ever did in your life. But when Wednesday come, none of that shit matters. You just gotta match that same level and have a fire Wednesday show, a fire Thursday show, and a fire Friday show, because nobody cares what your last show was. You are never as good as your last show. You're only as good as the show you're doing right now. So me and Will still try to take that personally and give y'all the best possible product we could possibly give y'all. You feel me? With that being said, I'm your host Lombardi Casprine.
You are watching a master
during Christmas.
At work.
In my mind.
In my mind, I feel like I'm a master at work. Shit, this show might be terrible. I don't know, but y'all keep coming. So I appreciate it. VOCHLOMBARDI on all platforms. And I'm being hosted, point guarded by the best in the business, Master William Stillion.
Santa Claus on the ceiling. Big Willie chilling. Pinch the Grinch for being a holiday villain.
I was on the bomb squad for 10 years.
What's good with you, Master William?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Did you have a little Christmas jingle in the middle of yours?
Yes. Okay. So look.
I heard it in there.
That's what I'm saying. Will still. This is Silent Night by the Temptations, and it starts off with y'all just need to listen to Silent Night Temptations.
But usually I hear the In My Mind Silent Nights, but I didn't hear the jingle when you.
Oh, it's a Christmas song. Let me.
You are watching a master at work.
In my mind.
You ain't hear the
Never mind. I thought I heard something. I thought I heard a jingle back there. But anyway, man, what's good, squad?
It's definitely jingling in your.
Santa Claus on the ceiling.
That's what I thought I heard. Right. I thought I heard that.
Grinch for being a holiday villain.
Which is brilliant. They took jingle bells and made it a part of the beat, which is fire.
Right.
By the way. But yeah, Will still yours has the most jingling. Pause if I need to or whatever.
Oh Lord.
I know. Will still. You know we got young people watching this thing, man. Anyway, what we have for y'all today. Cool little show. Let me unlock the phones.
The conference has been unlocked.
Go ahead and get y'all prepped for the phones and things of that nature. So what we got today, everything but my phone. Here we go. So what I have for y'all today is every time they have the coaches press conferences, coordinator press conferences, we got to tap in with them and hear what they said, on these Tuesdays or Wednesdays, whenever it is. Also, we have film, like we watch the film just a little bit closer. So I just want to give y'all some of my findings, some of the things that I thought was interesting on film. Now, normally my film, let me see if I can find something. normally like my film notes be like this long, you know what I mean? Just a little sheet of, you know what I mean? A little bit of nonsense there. My film was this. This was my film, right? Because over on my Patreon, patreon.com/Voch Lombardi, that's where I get most of my film done. And we had a banger today, man. We had a banger of a show. Anybody that was in class today can, can hallelujah that, amen that. They can attest to that, how good today's show was. And, we try to answer questions over there. If nobody has a question, we'll just watch O-line, D-line, we'll just boogie. But people was asking me this week, Voch, why didn't we get very much pass rush on the Houston Texans? Well, that calls for a little bit of investigation. And I love y'all to pieces, man. I don't just want y'all walking around, with no answers. Oh, they figured out Micah Parsons. Oh, shit. Oh, we not the best pass rush in the league no more. We can't get sacks on this easily sackable team. All right, cool. Even though Micah Parsons kind of gives you the hint of what they're watching on film, that teams are playing us differently. We're not going to get the same amount of sacks that we'll get versus a team that, passes aggressively versus us or whatever. So first and foremost, before I get into my notes, get into my assessment, and then get into a question that Will still asked yesterday, Dan Quinn actually addressed this. So we'll start off with Dan Quinn's comment on not having a sack last game.
A combination. We didn't get a lot of chances to go. The ball was thrown pretty quickly on some of the ones that we had, but our moments were there too. And so I thought as it went to it, you'd look back and, some of our missed tackles did happen to be on a missed sack in this game. So, we always want to affect the quarterback. That's part of how we want to go get it on as a group. So when you don't have one, you do want to dig in and find out why. I'd say it's probably a combination in this game on some of the dropbacks of getting it out quickly. And then by the second piece of that, you got to go finish on them.
So, Will Steele, I'm going to get back to my sound clips, by the way. I just want to, super address what Dan Quinn was talking about, the reason we didn't get sacks. Because people was curious, Will Steele. Voch, fuck happened? Okay, cool. Pulled out my handy dandy notebook, pulled out this pen that write real good. And I just started charting all the passes, right? So I moved clean past all the rundowns. If we need to evaluate rundown stuff, we'll do it later on a different episode, on a different, show or whatever, right? On the Patreon. So I was like, all right, all the passes. I want to chart all the passes that they had. And I want to kind of figure out what was going on. I charted 26 passes. Now, if you look at Davis Mills passes and Trask, what's his name? Kyle Trask?
Driscoll. Jeff Driscoll.
My bad. Same dude, really. Jeff Driscoll, right? When I chart those, I ended up with like 26 passes, but it was 27 passes altogether. One was like a spike. I didn't know that those counted as a whole as incomplete pass. It makes sense now. But one was a spike. But the actual 26 gradable passes, we broke those down in the Patreon, and I walked away with 4 different categories, right? Passes that were released in under 2.5 seconds, right? You see this in different, coaching circles or different 7-on-7 camps or whatnot. They normally make a sack like 4 seconds or 4.5 seconds, depending on, how that different coaching circle is grading it and evaluating it. But 2.5 seconds, a lot of coaches look at 2.5 seconds in a play as the first half of a play. Like a normal play is 4 or 5 seconds. So 2.5 is like the first half of it. So what a gradable sack to some of these circles are 1,001, 1,002, 3, 4. And that's a play that you can, get a good sackable evaluation from. What you was getting a lot from the Texans here was 1,001, 1,002, ball gone. And the Colts did this a bunch, which was another game. We didn't really get crazy in the sack department until like later, right? So as I was doing my grading, I was just looking at it. 1,001, 1,002, ball gone. Oh, okay. Well, they did a little play action rollout. They ran it. 1,001, 1,002, ball gone. You know what I mean? So that's how I kind of categorize it. There are 4 categories that I have here. Y'all bear with me. So out of 26 passes, 14 of them were gone in under 2.5 seconds. Will Steele. I understand we have fantastic pass rushers, but damn it, ain't nobody getting sacks in 2.5 seconds, especially when you're only bringing four rushers and you're not really blitzing like that. And that's what we was doing for the most part. We were just, rushing our 4 guys, sometimes 3 guys, our regular in-game packages. Sometimes we'll get some of these rushes when Hankins and, Bo were on the field, and those guys aren't really pass rushers, but the ball was gone into gone, right? You can't get sacks on those plays. But that was 14 of them. The other 2 plays were like these rollout plays, right? So, we play action, y'all play the run in that direction, we'll roll out the back and get an easy little dump off to the tight end. Those were 2 plays. You're not really going to get pressure on those plays. The last 2 categories that we charted were the 3+ pressure. Now, I understand what I said. You probably got to hold the ball 4 seconds to really grade your pass rush properly. But the Cowboys pass rush are superheroes, Will Steele. So we decided to use 3 seconds. And I'm only speaking to the people that says, oh, well, where was the Cowboys pass rush? Of the 5, 6, 7, of the 11 plays that were, where Davis Mills held the ball long enough for us to properly sack him, we got pressure on those plays 7 times, right? And I know there were points in the game where Davis Mills be holding the ball and it feels like we weren't getting pressure. Like it feels like he was just hanging around in the pocket and not really getting rid of the football. Us not getting to him prior to him getting rid of the football, that only happened 4 times. So I think Cowboy fans were kind of over exaggerating in terms of why is Davis Mills just able to sit back in the pocket and throw the football. He only did that shit 4 times. The other time where Davis Mills held the ball for more than 3 seconds, we got pressure on him 7 times. This is the funny thing about it, Will Steele. As I'm charting it, the first time Davis Mills held the ball for longer than 3 seconds was at the 17-minute and 49-second mark of the film. And, they show us the down, the distance, the quarter, the time left. At the end of the second quarter, Will Steele, that was the first time Davis Mills held the ball for longer than 3 seconds. And we got a pressure off of. So fuck. Makes sense, right? And after that, they'll go back to 1,000, 1,002, boom, right? And you'll get, just a handful of plays that are longer than 3 seconds there. But this is the key, chat. This is the key. The most plays at one time where the Houston Texans held the ball longer than 3 seconds. Let me cut the music off. When the Houston Texans held the ball for longer than 3 seconds was at the end of the fucking game when the Cowboys got the lead. Cowboys go and get the lead. Houston Texans go, oh shit. Can't just kick a field goal out of this one. Can't just run the ball out of this one. Can't just 1,000, 1,000 too quick out of this one. We actually got to hold the football, make throws, and make plays. And you know what happened on all those plays, Will Steele? On those 4 plays, there were 3 pressures and an Oso Diggy sack. God damn. So in case there was anybody in the chat or in the comments, wherever y'all listening right now, Twitter machine, if there was ever somebody that was like, well, Voch, why the hell couldn't we get pressure on Davis Mills? Well, Dan Quinn probably didn't want to blitz for whatever reason. He didn't want to bring extra people. Fine. We brought 4 guys. And when we were bringing 4 guys and they weren't forced to hold the ball, they didn't hold the ball until our offense scored and we forced them to hold the football. And that's where our pressures came from, right? Now, something came up in the Patreon chat, and I urge y'all to go to patreon.com/Voch Lombardi and check my last post. Why couldn't the Cowboys get sacks versus the Texans? We crossed a lot of points off on that film. Will Steele made he asked me a question yesterday. He was like, Voch. I said, Will Steele was like, yeah, man, I was watching the film, Voch, and it looked like they was playing a lot of off coverage. How you think the corners did? And I hadn't watched the film at the time, so I really didn't have a great idea of, what to expect. But fuck Will Steele. Most of their completions. So look, it's always the funny shit, right? It's Trey side and everybody else. If you just go into the film looking at it like that, Trey side, then everybody else. And we talk about getting rid of the ball 2.5. We actually help them with getting rid of the ball at 2.5 whenever we gave them space to do it with the off coverage, Will Steele, whether that be Kelvin Joseph, Deron Bland, whoever was covering the tight end at the time, Will Steele, whenever we gave them dudes room to release and they was getting rid of the ball at 2.5 seconds, That's where many completions came from. The Texans were eating those completions because we gave them so much space. But Master William, when Kelvin Joseph walked his goofy ass down and he was allowed to be a little physical, when Deron Bland walked his ass down, he was allowed to be physical. Trey Diggs simply existed. They wasn't going to throw his ass no way. Oh, he starts to hold the ball a little longer, Will. Still, that 2.5, that 1,002 ball out shit don't work as efficiently. Right. Then we got our pressures. Then we got our Oso Diggies who was sack. So, shouts out to you, Will, still for asking us that yesterday.
Well, I didn't ask that question. I said that's what I noticed.
Oh, that's what you noticed.
That it was a bunch of off coverage. They were just completing passes on you throughout that game. I mean, they were super efficient, 20 for 27, but really it was 19 for 26 because of that Hail Mary or whatever. Sure. And yeah, it was, they held the ball for 2.6 and 2.53 time to throw. And normally for Cowboys, that's plenty enough time to get home. But we didn't, it seemed like in this game, we didn't play off of each other. Normally you would see the secondary playing off of the pass rush or the pass rush playing off the secondary. It just felt like, all right, we know we got this pass rush, but we're going to play off. And one thing I would criticize Dan on is not adjusting to that after seeing what they were doing. Whereas the week before, Matt Ryan held the ball for 2.2 seconds. That would be the second fastest time of the year. The only quarterback that held the ball, or not held the ball, but threw the ball faster than Matt Ryan this year was Tom Brady. And you sacked those guys 5 combined times. And I think it was because of the pressure that you were forcing on the outsides. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's because AB wasn't there or what, but Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills, you really didn't get much pressure. I think it was schematic. And if anybody's worried about the actual players, that's silly. It was more a schematic issue to me that I was surprised Dan didn't adjust to.
Sure. And look, there was this one play that we just pointed out or whatever. It was you ain't got to pull this up or nothing like that, but it was at the 6 minute and 58 second mark. That could be a 3, that could be a 5. My handwriting terrible, but I'm gonna go with 6:58 minute second in the film or whatever. And it was like Jay Ron was the deep safety. He was one high, and Kelvin Joseph was over there by himself with a guy, and Diggs was over there by himself with a guy. And you saw Davis Mills look to Diggs side first, then he came back to the other side, and that was the big Kelvin Joseph play. And I'm just up here watching the play with that. I'm up here like, man, if this is what we're gonna do, I at least want Kelvin Joseph to jam that dude because I know he's athletic enough to catch up if he need to. But then also, if I'm J-Ron Curse or if I'm Malik Hooker or if I'm Dono playing deep guy, I don't give a fuck if Davis Mills looking at Trey Diggs. He ain't gonna throw it over there. If he do, that's good for us.
Exactly, and that's another part of the adaptation, right? He clearly was holding the safety with that look. But this is like 5 weeks in a row. I just don't get why we're not throwing help over there. Like this, this is maybe 6 weeks now. I don't know, but it feel like every week we're getting a deep ball caught on AB or Kelvin Joseph. And if you put help, maybe Kelvin Joseph can play differently. You know what I mean? Maybe or AB, whoever the hell is over there. But you're right, and it was J-Ron Curse that was back there, which I'm surprised he was playing deep safety. I wonder if something happened to Malik Hooker.
Sure. Well, that's that. In case anybody had any questions or whatever. In case anybody had any questions about the pass rush, that's what it was. If you want, we spent like an hour and 30 minutes breaking it down. So, just so y'all know, it's not any tomfoolery. Voch ain't just making up numbers. I ain't making up shit. If y'all want to go look for yourself, patreon.com/Voch Lombardi. We had a lot of injuries this game, Will, still. Man, you will talk about it. Let's see. Terrence was a guy. Mike McCarthy had a comment about that. Hankins was a guy. Everybody kind of ended up talking about Hankins. And Dorrance had a little ankle. You know what I mean? So
he was in a boot.
He was in a boot for sure. So that's something we got to keep eyes on. I think Ferguson will be fine. He's in the protocols. If he don't come back this week, he'll definitely be back next week. So that's fine there. But I want to focus on these 3 names. I want to start off with Dorrance Armstrong. We probably got the least to say about him. Not that he's, we can afford to lose because I want all of our guys. But Dorrance Armstrong, I just want to talk about him first because somebody asked Dan Quinn about Takk McKinley, and I thought that was interesting, and I wanted to ask Will Still about this. So here's Dan Quinn talking about Takk McKinley in lieu of Dorrance Armstrong being in a walking boot.
I thought one of the things you guys don't know just from not being around it, but he is really fit and really strong. And so I thought he put so much into the rehab. coming back from his Achilles, he really changed his body at the same time to do that. And so if called upon, we certainly feel like he's been with us now for enough time to be ready to go if called upon. And so that's what we were aiming towards with him. But he had been really a good addition. We had challenged him and McKenzie and Kendall to say, you know when your moment is coming, but it is likely coming. And so having the stress to put on those guys, as I was referring to earlier with Todd, to not have to change the system, but literally raise the floor. This is the standard, and the standard's the minimum. And if we can get them to that spot, those three I spoke about specifically, that's where we want to stress them and push them to see if they're up for the challenge. And so far, Tack and McKenzie and Kendall, they've been ones that have shown, hey, I know I'm behind here, but I'm willing to put the work in to get right.
We've seen enough from him to where if he is called upon, we know that he'll be ready to go. Well, still, you think this would be a fantastic time to call your ass upon Tat McKinley?
If DA is not ready, yeah, call him up. Or, I mean, shoot, he might be ready, but maybe you give him that week to kind of rest up because you're going to need all hands on deck the following. And I hate to do that. I hate to be like, oh, rest him. But if he's not good to go where it's no effect, then call him up.
Now, Chauncey Golston was a guy that was not active last week. Chauncey's a guy that plays, a little bit of defensive end, but a whole bunch inside, a whole bunch more inside though. If it was up to you, Will, still, do you just activate Chauncey when he was inactive last week, just let him run some of that DN stuff since Dorrance is out? Or do you personally choose Tat McKinley over Dorrance Armstrong? Because when I hear Dan Quinn talk about how in shape he is, I keep thinking about the conversation we be having about when we saw Tat McKinley damn near foaming at the mouth, swole, sweating and shit on the sideline, but not being able to play. What you think, Will, still? You're
going to call them both up if he can't go, because you just lost two people that are going to go on IR. You'll get one with I think it's TY Hilton. So that should be one of those free spots. And then you haven't called up Tack yet, so you got a free one. So you don't really need to, you called him up once, I'm sorry. So you don't really need to sign him to the active roster yet. So what you do is you activate both if Dorrance Armstrong's not ready.
Yeah, fair enough. And we do have that spot for T.Y. Hilton, Will, still. And it was so strange to us yesterday when they, and like, look, because even with Tat McKinley, right? Okay, well, he's here, but he got to sit around and figure shit out for a minute. And T.Y. Hilton gets here like, hey, can you work tomorrow? Can you work tomorrow? There's a little more urgency with the T.Y. Hilton thing than, all the other free agents that we brought in at various positions, right? Hankins was the guy that was an emergency. That made a little more sense to us. But then T.Y. Hilton is an emergency guy. So here's Mike McCarthy talking about T.Y. Hilton. Me and you kind of go back and forth on that a little bit.
Yeah, T.Y.'s in today. So, it was a great addition. Obviously, he's been working all year. So he's in great shape medically. So, he had to work out. So I'm looking forward to, he's actually meeting with Robert Prince right now. So, biggest thing for him will be the language, which it always is with a new opportunity. So, we'll get him out there Wednesday and get him acclimated. But, as far as, his addition, really, I really don't have anything to report on Odell.
You think they know something we don't know about T.Y. Hilton?
In what regards?
I don't know, man. I just feel like when I first heard T.Y. Hilton, I felt like when a lot of us heard T.Y. Hilton, it was like, all right, this is I got Odell Beckham at home signing. You know what I mean? Like, all right, T.Y. But when I think of, I just like, this is just a dude that's been healthy and on the street, all 14 of these weeks. You know what I mean? He didn't really garner a whole bunch of excitement out of me. Like, T.Y. Hilton, shit, it just based on how this feels, it feels like T.Y. Hilton's going to come right in and get more than James Washington. James Washington been here since offseason or whatever, right?
He's better than James Washington. That's number one. I think they've been keeping tabs on him. According to all the insiders, they've been kind of keeping tabs on him. But clearly I said this on him this morning, he was down at the bottom of the totem pole for guys they wanted. They inquired on Cooks, they inquired on Judy, they courted Odell, and then it was like, all right, T.Y. ain't going nowhere. And, of course, T.Y. can decide where he wants to go. But I think they watched him work out. I'm just guessing. And they said, okay, he has ability that we don't have right now in that receiver room. What I mean is everybody is very much so a possession guy. Think about it. And TY, he might come in here and be your fastest dude at 33. He might come here and be your most agile dude at 33. And I'm not saying that because you know, bro can get some yak stuff in regards to being agile, but he might be your most your quickest dude at 33. So I think they're looking at it that way, like, all right, man, we saw James. James ain't really providing.
James lumbered his ass around. Well, when they was talking about James Washington, I think CD was the one that said it on Gallup or something. Hey, man, yeah, James Washington, you had a downfield threat now. Boom, boom. You think they was practicing with James, and then they saw him in the game, and it was like, man, this downfield shit ain't working for James. Let's go see if we can find somebody else that probably move a little better than him. Do you think that signing TY was an emergency because James Washington ain't it?
Oh, I would call it an emergency because James, they were looking for receiver. We got to remember that. Prior to James even being ready, receiver was on the go at the trade deadline. But I think when they got out there and probably saw James, they probably, like I said, all those guys are the same. They're just different body sizes. But everybody is a possession receiver that you can throw the ball deep to, but they're not deep guys anymore. I mean, let's just be honest. Michael Gallup's not the deep guy he once was, and clearly Dak and Michael Gallup don't have that trust they used to. And last year, T.Y. Hilton on 7 targets, 20-plus yards in the air, caught 4 of them for 169 yards and a touchdown. He could track the ball with the best of them. When he was T.Y. Hilton, he could track the ball deep with the best of them. So I wonder if they bring him in here for that aspect of the offense because we've been saying it for years. That's one of the things that's been missing, at least this year. Last year, you had Amari to kind of do some things deep and then take coverage away to let Lamb do things deep. But you don't got that guy right now.
All right. Well, on that token, Segway Jones might ask Mike McCarthy, is there really a need for wide receiver?
I just think this is really just a product of how the personnel department has all. I think every personnel department, you're just always looking at these conversations. I mean, this wasn't just a conversation that started today. I mean, these are things that Will's always looking at. And
I am looking at
communication, and so we the timing was right. He's ready. He's ready to go. So. He's an excellent addition, especially this time of year. I've never had experience and quality of a player as T.Y. Hilton to your roster in December. It's very unique.
Jalen Tolbert got to be shit.
Jalen Tolbert got to be hurting right now. Seeing that all these guys are coming in, you got James Washington. We trying to get all these other receivers. You're trying to get Odell Beckham. Now you get T.Y. Hilton.
Got to be walking around with the sad black and white piano music with his blanket, huh? Because it's like, 100%. My bad, what's that? Appreciate you, Content King. It's like, man, boy, if Jalen Tolbert, James Washington broke his foot in camp, nobody touched him. Here's your chance. All right, Michael Gallup still ain't da-da-da-da-da. Here's your chance. Boy, Dennis Houston in here because Dak liked him, but after week 1, here's your chance. Odell Beckham comes in. Odell Beckham need not ready. He divas it out and he leaves. Here's your chance. Nah, we're going to go find another motherfucker. We're going to find another 33-year-old man to come in here in this young man's game and take your daggone spot, man. Jalen Tolbert got to be sick, Will.
Yeah.
James Washington said, I'll play special teams. That shit ain't last long, but he said it. And that motherfucking Jalen Tolbert still can't get his shot, man. I feel for the young bull, the young bull. The fact that we drafted a receiver, 3rd round, day 2. We drafted a receiver, and we had hopes about the receiver. Then we've gone through not having 4 other receivers. He still can't get his shot, man. Po little tink. Po little tink. But shouts out to Jalen Tolbert, man. Maybe next year when all these dudes is going off of their 1-year contract and $38 a year. That's how much what's the name making T.Y. Hilton making $38 a year, but his is a little different because he making $38 a year off 8 games or something, or playoffs or whatever. And then he got his little playoff incentives or whatever. So, but it's still like 8, but it's still $38 to us. But damn, Jalen Tolbert, I just hope you better next year, so we ain't got to have this conversation no more, man. Right tackle or D-line? Let's go D-line. Let's talk about Jonathan Hankins. We're not going to be here long. Look, they asked Mike McCarthy about Jonathan Hankins. Will still.
He's being evaluated. He has a. I'm going to make sure it says he has a sprain. It's pretty significant. So we're still doing some more testing.
Jared Jones, is Jonathan Hankins gonna play? Hell no, that motherfucker out to the playoffs, dog. He out. He's out. Not playing for us. Bo Hanna better get his shit together. Carlos Watkins better be starting. You won't get no Jonathan Hankins from us. So yeah, man, Mike McCarthy put some question marks up there, but Jared Jones came here and cleared all that up, gave away every single competitive advantage we was possibly looking for, and let everybody know that what's his name? Jonathan Hankins is not going to be playing for us anytime soon, but he could possibly be back for the playoffs. Will still. That's what Jared Jones said. And that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt. You know what I mean? But the bright side about the Jonathan Hankins as opposed to the Terence Steele injury is that we know for sure, not even know for sure, but there is a glimmer of hope that we'll get him back for the postseason. And that's when we're really going to need to run stopping. So I do feel a little better about that. It is a pectoral injury, but I feel like one time wasn't Conor McGovern out for like a whole season because of the
if you
pectoral
get
injury?
a torn pec, it's a wrap. And he said a pec strain, which is basically a small tear. Yeah, I guess it depends how he said significant, but I guess it depends how bad the strain is. If it's a minor strain or a mild strain, probably 4 to 6 weeks. But if it's significant, I'd imagine he's done.
Okay. And let's get the last two clips about Jason Peters. Now, Will still, Mike McCarthy upset my little soul when I heard him say, and it's funny, right? Because I feel like if we'd have asked Jerry Jones, I wonder what Jerry would have said, First of all, let's get Mike McCarthy's quote, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll work the rotation this week. I thought Josh Ball had some good snaps, and and definitely, I think the way we, played the game there, where Josh was, you look at the things we're doing with Josh, and then Jason came in for the 2-minute drill. So it obviously worked out well for us. I thought both those guys played well in their, in their. With their opportunities. So, we'll let the game plan tomorrow kind of
Stop the cap.
Clean that up for us. And, the guys were in today, this morning, and, we'll get on it Wednesday. So I don't have the answers for you right now.
Man, I really want us to just not be tomfoolering around with this shit, man. Like we signed the 20-year veteran, future Hall of Famer, multi-time Pro Bowler for a reason, man. Let's just play him and quit playing. One last thing about Jason Peters before we move on to our rights out conversation. Somebody asked, can Jason Peters play a full game, 70 some odd snaps? Mike said this.
I think we played 26 yesterday. So yeah, I mean, he's been working. So he's he puts a lot of extra time in. There's not too many times where you go through the weight. He's a big weight room guy in the first down on the first floor where he's not there putting extra time in. So I think he's ready to go and do what's ever needed. Of him.
Let's not overthink this, man.
Yeah.
Let's not overthink this, bro.
That was encouraging, though. I mean, it's not. Here's the thing: Mike McCarthy's not trying to give anything away, so I respect that. But if Jerry got an interview in this week, he gonna tell you what's gonna happen. So
Jason.
They just gotta ask the question. If they ask the question, Jerry would tell you. The other thing before you move on, I said this morning. I feel like the Cowboys need to go back into the defensive tackle market heading into the playoffs and find themselves another one tech just to have the body. I understand we like Carlos Watkins. He's doing a fantastic job, in his snaps. But I feel like they should get another body. There's a guy out there, Starla Tulele, that I think could come in here and be a part of this rotation. He's not a fantastic player. He had 3 sacks last year for the Bills, but he's a big body. He's a big one tech that can do some 3-techy things too. So I would go get somebody, man. Hankins is a big loss.
Somebody in the chat trying to find him. The coolest. They said bring Justin Hamilton back. Familiar. He's been here before.
Yeah.
They know.
I have no idea where the hell he's at, but yeah.
I have no clue what Justin Hamilton doing with his life nowadays. But but that's a name though. That's a good name. And I'm sure Will McClay and them on this. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're not just laying around not thinking about it. You know what I mean? I'm sure if they're going to add wide receiver help right now, after some more wide receiver help, then I'm sure, D tackle help is in that conversation somewhere. Brian Broader says this all the time that the front office is going to cover their ass. What I mean? They always going to make sure that they're covered. It may not be the name we want, but it's going to be somebody. It's going to be a person. So we should definitely keep our eyes on that for the rest of the way. Now, Jerry Jones also just giving away all competitive advantages. Mike McCarthy never would have said this, but Jerry Jones like, hell yeah, Tyron Smith playing this Sunday. Now we already knew that, but at least that's something that Mike McCarthy would have played around with and possibly would have called it a game day decision. Then one day Tyron Smith just poofs out of nowhere, epiphany, right? But Jerry Jones says, "Hey man, Tyron Smith gonna be playing, so it is what it is." Now, Will Steele, me and you on the same page with this. I'm sure I haven't asked you this. I'm sure we're on the same page, but I'll ask you anyway. Your starting five should be 77, 73, 63, 70, 71, correct?
77, 60. Yep.
Okay. You think they're gonna find a way to make that shit 77, 66, 63, 70? Where the fuck Josh Ball number? What is Josh Ball number now? 70,
75.
75. You think they're gonna find a way to incorporate Connor McGovern and Josh Ball in this thing, huh?
Oh my
I have
gosh.
no
And that's not a knock on McGovern per se, but I hope not. But they did have this weird lineup. This is like the second or third week out of 4. I don't know what it is. Where they took Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith, y'all, had played at one point 100% of the snaps for the Cowboys. Watch, 100%.
Yep.
Very valuable snaps for a rookie who's trying to learn multiple spots.
Yep.
And they've been taking him off the field completely and for a 71 and 66 lineup. So I have to question. It may happen. I don't think it should happen, but it may happen. They gonna bench him?
Pat NOC Walker, shouts out to him. He put out a little article or something like that. He like to put his information out. Shouts out to him, man. That's the bro. And he was like, man, they asked Jason Peters, man, what was the lead up? What was the lead up to him coming out or whatever? And the whole idea that Josh Ball was out there first. Joe Philbin had to go find Jason Peters. Like, hey man, go get Josh Ball out of there, man. So this lineup situation, this lineup conundrum, I'm blaming this on Joe Philbin. You know what I mean? Because I thought that, I thought it was just clear common sense that this should be the lineup, but apparently Joe Philbin still like to play around with his lineup. And it keeps going back to that preseason conversation was still, of people, Brian and found out that Joe Philbin really didn't want the pick. And I keep saying this, not really as a joke for real, but I just know how this shit works. They never really gave Tyler Smith the starting job. Like all the way up to week 4, it could have been Tyler, it could have been Connor. Like they rotated the whole time. And you like to cuss me out. I appreciate you for keeping me clear. But you was like, man, Voch, man, they're not gonna da. What if they da Will Steele? You know what I'm saying? There was actually a lineup where we saw Jason Peters and Connor McGovern. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
That's more damning than the preseason. The preseason, Mike McCarthy keeps everything close to the vest. When he asked that question about who's a starter or whatever, remember, Tyler Smith was out. Tyler Smith was out with the injury. So, obviously, Mike McGovern, blah, 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 blah. But I truly did believe that at some point that he would be the starter heading into the season. Then Tyron Smith messed all that up. So we never really got an answer on that. But now that we're having possessions, I think 2 games in a row now, maybe 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, where they're not having him on the field, this is different than the preseason. We've got 1,000 snaps of seeing Tyler Smith just doing Tyler Smith things. You can't possibly be thinking about benching him from McGovern.
From McGregory, who ain't going to be here next year, man.
Yeah, that would be foolish.
Will Steele, time out. The lineup Sunday should be 77, 73, 63, 70, 71. How upset y'all gonna be when y'all see 77, 66, 63, 70, 75? Hey, y'all go follow me on Twitter, man. I'm just tweeting through my pain. Will Steele, it's almost like this is definitely a thing in high school and college or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we got this veteran player. We don't want to hold him or disrespect him or nothing like that. You know what I mean? So we may rotate him in a little bit, but we're going to let the young dude take over later. But this is just a Cowboys thing. You know what I mean? Like Nolan Carroll got to play until shit gets fucked up. And then we bring in the guy that we really want to play. You know what I mean? Talk about like, okay, well, we can get a new 3-tech, but Tyrone Crawford going to play till he break all the way down. And then we're going to see what we got. Talk like why shit got to be destructive before we just do what's right, Will Steele. And look, I'm not saying Connor McGovern's a bad player. I think Connor McGovern gives you some solid snaps. Tyler Smith is the clearly better player.
man.
And when I'm doing my O-line rankings every
Come on,
single
man.
week, I'm gonna go live on Patreon tonight. We're gonna do offensive line. Connor McGovern always at the bottom somewhere.
Bro,
Always at the bottom somewhere.
you said it. He's not going to be here next year, and he's not so much. Even if you say, "Oh, I think Connor McGovern's better," I would disagree. But I don't think he's so much better that you
Don't roll the
basically,
young guy.
yeah. Well, you pretty much punt on the potential, the ceiling of what Tyler Smith could be at left guard, which is clearly so much higher than McGovern. McGovern is what he is. Tyler Smith, think about this. We saw Tyler Smith, continue to hone in on his craft at left tackle the more snaps he got. What the hell you think will happen if he play left guard the more snaps he gets? I think if you don't think he's better, but I think he surpassed McGovern fairly quickly, especially after having left tackle snaps, especially having a left tackle like Peters or Tyron Smith next to him. Well, it would be so detrimental. It would be stupid, man. I'm gonna just say it flat out. It'd be stupid if you bench him for Connor McGovern.
We have routinely seen Tyler Smith, Lil Smith is what they call him. We've routinely seen Lil Smith move
Smith
people from
Jr.
point A to point B. Yeah. My bad. Smith Jr. We've seen Smith Jr. move people from point A to off the film. I say this as a joke all the time, but it's real.
But it's real.
We start off cartel view,
Let me find
and then Tyler start pushing people. We got to go back to the wide receiver view, just see how far Tyler pushed people. Yannick Ngakoue was sick of Tyler Smith by the end of the game.
bro.
I ain't never seen Connor McGovern do that.
He
man.
bullied on the game-winning touchdown. Was it a game-winning?
I'm gonna watch tonight. I don't even know.
Oh, I got it pulled up. I think it was the game-winning one, man. Tyler Smith he's a fucking bully, dog.
And shouts out to Connor McGovern, man, but he is a fantastic swing interior dude. You ain't got to force yourself to play him. You know what I mean? I think it's clear that Jason Peters is the better guy over Josh Ball. Like, how much evidence you need Josh Ball don't need to be playing? How much more evidence you need? And look, this ain't a new trend. This ain't like, oh man, Josh Ball I heard Brody say that. Shouts out to Brody. He's like, yeah, man, Josh Ball lost his confidence, and that's where the bad plays come from. He been doing this shit in preseason. There's been the evidence on Josh Ball. We was at training camp and shit. They was beating the shit out of Josh Ball. This ain't new.
No. It's why we were all baffled when other players were being cut and Josh Ball was still on the roster. Like, hey, listen, I'm not the one that's going to get all crazy up in arms about losing Ridgeway, but I'm sitting here like, you cut him over Josh Ball?
You could have cut the other motherfucker, man. Come on, dog.
Yeah.
Where my button at, man? Because I got upset, man.
Your mama sure does care about your schooling, son.
Let's get into the phones, man. Let's get into the phones, bro. It is what it is. Sam Rowe says, Voch, you missed a super chat. I did. Where you been?
You don't know how this go yet?
You know how this work yet, man? You know how this work. And look, the only reason I do it that way because I just think that the show flows better when you just do them at the end. Because when we could be talking about something. Yeah, man. Hold on. Chris Perez dropped 5 in super chat, and then you off on a whole other topic, man. We gonna get through the flow. We gonna segue Jones it up, and at the end, I'm gonna cut that music back on. I'm gonna cut this on, and we gonna go through the soups. All right. Appreciate it though, Sam. Yeah, but where you been though? Shit, I didn't close the goddamn super chat window. All right, it's cool. I'll go back to it. Let's get to the phones. That's what I was doing.
The conference has been locked.
We're gonna leave it like that. DJ, I'm not gonna be, arrogant or braggadocious, sir, but why don't you just tell the good people how fire Patreon was this morning, sir?
Man, I showed up late and I still had the best time I'd had all day. Now, most of it's been getting cussed out here at work, but other than that, it was the best part of my day, man.
Come on,
best part of my day.
Appreciate you, brother. What you got for the show, man?
Hey, man, okay, number one, y'all are so hard to time because you got through the clips, and usually that's when you go to the phone because I'm at work, right? So I can walk outside so I don't have a whole bunch of background noise. That in respect to the show. I get outside, and I'm sitting here, and I work at a dealership. So, it's windy outside, so I have to get in the car. I've been sitting in this car for 15 minutes, man. I was like, man, I thought I timed that right. But
it depends on the content, man. It depends on if we spitting, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good, though.
Sure.
Go ahead.
For sure. It was all quality. Hey, real quick, I'm hating this number that they got to get to on rush attempts. Because as I was watching, what was it, 8, 9, 10, 11 consecutive rush attempts on that one drive,
Yep, 11.
It's almost like I think Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore's relationship is like the kid who's got chores to do at the house. And his mama's like, I don't care what you do, you can do anything you want, but that trash better be out by the time I get home. And it's like the kid doesn't do it, and when he hears the mom pull up in the driveway and close the door, he runs and gets the trash and runs out the back real quick. That's what that felt like to me.
Yeah.
That's
we probably could have found a flow like we did early in the game. We probably could have found a flow just handing the football off, but it seemed like Kellen got a little petty, just like we was laughing yesterday, right? Kellen got a little petty, just said, "Fine, I'll just do what you want, huh?" And just run the ball. So I don't think that was Kellen trying to get to a certain number of attempts. I just think he was just being petty.
Okay, and then with this TY thing, I just got one question. I'm jumping real quick so I can get out the way.
Please.
Will it be more of? I don't think he's going to come in and be the guy to pull attention away from CD like that. Like he's the main guy that they're afraid of. They're doubling him instead of CD. But will it be more of him being a threat? Like he'd have to get a couple of big catches down the field or whatever, like he did back in the day, to suffice for that? Or can they come in with a game plan to where, will it be more, I guess what I'm asking is, will it be more like he's feeding off of the attention that CD's getting?
I'll tell you right now.
Will he be able, is he still good enough to earn the ability to kind of balance out the field for CD?
I'll tell you right now. Me and Will still kind of made some jokes about this yesterday. It just seemed like me and Will still just always right ahead of task or whatever. But you remember Dez Bryant, when Dez Bryant really didn't know all the plays, but Tony was able to account for that because of how Tony played. But when Dak came in, Dak wasn't able to play that Dez Bryant type of football. I'm not saying that CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup are Dez Bryant type players. CeeDee Lamb above the shoulders may not be exactly where Dak is above the shoulder. You see what I'm saying? So when we hear things like, dumbing down the offense or taking away the option routes, that just means that we're not getting dudes on the same page or the same place at the same time. I think Dak and Dalton are maybe a little better in terms of the shoulder up, same place, same timeness. But I just think CeeDee Lamb is more of a athlete and playmaker than he is a cerebral kid. So what you get from T.Y. Hilton, and I'm not speaking for Will Steele because he can speak for us, but I'm just guessing right now. What you're getting from T.Y. Hilton is that he's an older gentleman that has seen some shit. So maybe it'll be a little bit easier for him to pick up on some things as opposed to Dak. Now, when we get these man cover looks, sure, that's when you use the big muscle and Michael Gallup. You use the yak guy and Lamb, and that's when you'll kind of figure this out. But in terms of you need a wide receiver to read leverages and find spaces in the defense and shit like that, that's where I think an old man and T.Y. Hilton will probably benefit. Plus, T.Y. Hilton probably runs a little faster than them.
For sure, he damn sure can run that post up and cross that safety's face if he needs to. He made a living off of it for like 5 years. So, for sure, I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, my guy. Let me get a good deal on that F-150, man, and send the bill to the volume. Let them hold it down, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate. Will Steele, I probably butchered your whole thoughts on this. So did you want to give your thoughts on T.Y. Hilton's usage and how we're going to use him in conjunction with the other guys? We got Phil.
Nah, you good. I was trying to fix this while you was talking. That still messed it up. But yeah, nah, you good. T.Y. Hilton, I think we kind of covered it yesterday. We covered it all yesterday, pretty much, man.
For sure.
I'm still trying to fix this. But anyway, go ahead.
But just in case y'all wasn't here yesterday, stop missing shows. That's y'all fault. I'm gonna recap the whole show for y'all. Quit missing. Let's get Reek on the phone. See what he talking about. What up, Tariq?
That was annoying the hell out of me.
Tariq, what up? Reek?
Uh-oh.
Take me out mute, Reek. Snake.
Uh-oh.
Snake?
You want to snake him?
Let's get him. Reek gone.
Damn, Reek.
Snake, are you okay? Snake?
All right, who next?
Well, still, ain't nothing better than Metal Gear Solid drop. Like there's not, it's so random and it don't happen all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It only happens like once a month, twice a month. Amazing. All right. Let's get Mr. Amos on the phone. See what he's talking about. What's up, Mr. Amos?
Gosh, what's going on, man?
Everything. Trying to make it work out here. What you got for the show?
What's up, you Pastor Steve?
What's goody? What's goody?
Oh.
Well, the theme is, what have I learned?
Okay.
What I learned, what I seen time ago, we the type of team that love to jack it up. Dak like to jack it up, throw it all over the place. Kellen like to throw it all over the place. Jerry don't care. That's who we are. We want to blow somebody out, sit down in the third quarter, keep, and grieve. That's what this team is all about. To me, that's their strategy. Will it work? I damn sure hope so, because that's who they are anyway. But we don't know what the deal is. If Ball is on that side trying to block, we know they're going to run. If Peter's over there, then we know it's time to jack it up and throw. We are who we are. They're not going to stop doing what they're going to do. Jerry don't care. That's why they paid $40 million for a quarterback. Just to show out and just jack the ball up. That's all I got to say, fellas. God bless you, and y'all have a good.
Appreciate it, Mr. Amos. He is sick of Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore jacking the ball up. Appreciate you.
This is interesting.
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to look something up because since Dak has been back,
okay,
he's thrown the ball over 30 times twice. I'm sorry. So you would think he did that like every game or something. I'm still of the belief that Kellen, for the most part, has been balanced. Is when he glitches, right? And they're 1-1 in those games where he throws it more than 30 times. And the other game, are you blaming? You blaming them? So you blaming Dak when they had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter?
Also, too, which was a fantastic point from someone in one of my comment sections. I wish I knew who you were so I can give you credit. I apologize. Before the last drive, driving 98 yards, we threw the ball 11 times. So really, Dak's passing numbers was at 28 prior to that last drive.
You mean they threw it 11 more times on that last drive, so they were under 30, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, and you had to throw it at that point.
You had to.
Like, what are you gonna do? So
yeah.
Context matters. I get we look at the volume numbers and people get upset, but I mean, right? Really, the only game that we could argue, dog, what are you doing is the Green Bay game, but you got a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter at the end of it. So I would argue they're doing better to be balanced. I think it's the issues offensively are beyond that. I think it's other things. I think it's more small things.
Yeah. And the last thing I'm going to do is complain about that last drive, boy. That last drive was God.
Come on now.
My word. Look, you can look bad all week. You give me a 98-yard drive at the end of the game, in which we're going to break it down on patreon.com/Voch Lombardi, the next episode. Oh, my goodness, man. Come on, man. Brother JR, what's good with you, sir? What's up, sir?
God.
Hello.
What's good, baby?
Hi, JR.
Hey, I was almost like, man, who is that previous caller? You know what I'm saying? But when you brought back that $99 million, $40 million that drive for the win. Oh, I felt good. I felt good all over again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God, dog. Boy, that last caller, Amos, he sounded like he was in his pickup truck.
Big truck.
He had him a couple of Amos Wisers listening to some Backstreet Boys on his way home.
He said Amos Wisers.
I watched that can't throw 50 touchdowns a game.
Right.
Good God, man, calm down.
Yeah.
Whoa, that man just won us a game,
Crazy.
baby.
Yeah.
On his own back.
By himself.
Step back. He looked Schultz in the face and said, I'm going to throw it to you 2 times. You better catch both of them. Noah Brown said, look at me, I'm open. He took the hit from behind, got up, kept battling against the big red. We went home with the victory, baby. Oh, I still feel good off that.
Yep.
But I don't know Voch got on. I can't, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause I know people listening, you know what I'm talking about.
Every time.
But you ever had, that one time, you know what I'm talking about, when you hooked up with that one person?
I have not.
You know what I'm saying? And y'all hooked up And boy, God dog, if it wasn't Root just saluting that thing,
Never.
and you have to go back and you don't talk to him no more, but you got to go back.
Well, I
and
have
you
not
look at the
talked.
number,
Yeah, I have.
and
Yeah.
when you see that number, it reminds you.
I've
Bah,
definitely.
you know what I'm saying?
That's high and dry,
Man,
for
that
sure.
time I hear 98 yards, I can remind.
I've been very toxic my whole life. Yeah, for sure. Right. I done definitely left like.
Man, your mama sure does care about your school.
I've definitely left like that. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just had to get that out real quick.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that, 40 million, 98 yards.
Right
40
in
million, 98 yards.
Good.
We can get one of them every game. I don't want one of them every game.
We don't. There you go.
I ain't gonna hold you. But if that can give us one of them when we need it,
We good to go.
shoot.
We good to go. Appreciate it,
You know
Jr.
what I'm
Good.
saying?
Good call, brother. Salute.
Appreciate you, baby.
So then, okay. So then, now, when does crack? Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
We love you, JR.
Shouts out to you, dog.
Just substitute crack and cocaine for Blue Chews and Boston Scientific.
It's accurate at that point. Oh, it's accurate if you just make that substitution. Sorry, you ain't saying nothing wrong. Oh, goodness. JR can't wait to call in.
I told JR he would be a fantastic manager if he would work for WWE. Oh my gosh, man.
Come on, man. All right. Supers. Shouts out to JR though, man. Shouts out, you know what I mean? We appreciate all our callers. Let me hit refresh on that. Here we go. Ah, super. What's the day? The 13th? Okay, got a few. Okay. On the volume side, Guillotine 06. He dropped a deuce and says, what happened to moving Micah around? I think it's game plan dependent, you know? I think what Dan Quinn was thinking is, and we've seen Dan do this before. He did it with the second Giants game. It's like, hey man, we'll just put Micah versus their best dude and just match everybody else up. And we got faith that Micah could beat their best dude. You know what I mean? And let's just go from there. And it worked versus Giants. I mean, Micah got his wins versus Andrew Thomas. Everybody else kind of just mismatched, beat the shot at everybody else. The problem with that is, you know, you game plan around that, you get rid of the ball quickly. You don't really give us opportunity to get to him. Then fine. But Micah's moving around. In a couple games, Micah played Mike. You know what I mean? Green Bay, Micah played Mike. It was another game recently. Micah played Mike. So Colts, Micah played Mike. So yeah, they move him around just a little less than last year. Appreciate you.
No, there's something to that.
Yeah,
there's real life behind the scenes issues going on there. But hopefully, you know, by the time you get to the playoffs, they figure something out, because I mean, Micah's Micah, right? But I believe he feels like he could be doing more.
I'm gonna ask you about that after, because it sounds like
100%. I can't say everything word for word, but I'll tell you afterwards.
All right, cool. Privilege. Zoltan dropped 5 in the super chat, says, since McGovern has been serviceable, once Tyron's back, what's your thoughts on Tyler Smith at right tackle?
Tyler.
Oh
God, y'all, let's not mess this young man.
Stop the cap.
Keep up the good work, fellas. Nah, Zoltan, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm gonna put Tyler Smith at left guard where he's fantastic. I'm gonna put Jason Peters at right tackle where he's fantastic. If something happened to Jason, we gotta live with Josh Ball, dog. But if something happens to Tyron, you can put Tyler at left tackle and put McGovern at left guard. But if it's up to me, right tackle.
Yeah, I ain't touching. I'm not touching Tyler Smith at right tackle. No way.
No. Can't do that. On the Voch side, what's up, y'all? Let me hit refresh just to make sure. Let's hit refresh just to make sure. All right, cool. On the Voch side, Cool Hand Luke dropped 5. He says, TY signing. Maybe we're missing something. Why was he signed? O, D, and special teams have a backup at every position. We lose CD. Who's our number one? We lose CD. We ain't got a number one. We just got a gang of 2s and 3s, motherfuckers. We just had to mix and match in 2s and 3s, boy. We ain't got no more ones. Shit. Also, too, though, Wilson, I think it's a myth, this idea that when my number one receiver goes down, I got another number one receiver. I think when Lamb, Cooper, and Gallup was like really good, that kind of like spoils the idea of this thing that everybody got multiple number ones and we need to have one too. But for the most part, you're gonna have a one, maybe you'll have a couple twos, couple threes. You know, every wide receiver not gonna be built with multiple number one guys, you know?
Yeah, there's groups, receiving groups that are deep, and if one goes down, you feel confident. You know, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Chase goes down. You got the T Higgins. If Eagles, they got two guys. Like Cowboys were one of them last year, right?
Sure.
If when what's the name went out, you had CeeDee Lamb, and you know there's teams that do that, but for the most part, there may be 5 or 6 teams tops where that is a thing. But yeah, you usually have 1, 2, and then everybody else.
If the Patriots lose Nelson Aguilar, they throwing the ball to Kendrick Bourne. That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? If the Lions, well, I mean they got James Williams, but James is still a rookie. But if they lose Amon-Ra St. Brown, they throwing the DJ Chark, boy. It's just what it is. I just want to give y'all one more good example, just for the fuck of it. But I mean, we're gonna move on. I ain't got no more. All right, cool. I was gonna say the Bears if what's the name went down, but they ain't got nobody over there. All right,
receivers. Mooney went out. They got the cat from the trade.
They went to go get the trade guy. There you go. So yeah, if you lose CeeDee Lamb, you're just gonna have to play dominoes with a bunch of 2s and 3s, doc. And Darius Marshall drop 5 in the super chat says, Voch, what happened to that Devin the Dude song? Anything? I've been listening to you since back then. Damn. You know, just YouTube channels grow a little bit, and when you got a small YouTube channel, you can play whole albums and not get found. You be all right, because anybody, you know what I mean? But you know, when you grow in YouTube, humbly, respectfully, you just got to transition to the non-copyright music. That's where we get this lovely song. You know what I mean? Also, you get people that make music to make music for you. Shouts out to KD Beats. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I typically don't use too much licensed hip hop like I used to. You may still hear like MC8 or something, you know what I mean? You'll definitely still hear that. But if you was around for the Devin the Dude, then you've been part of this channel for a long time. So appreciate you, Darius Marshall. Chat, what y'all got? What's good with y'all? What y'all want to talk about?
You said that like JR. Chat.
What's going on? Hey man, let me tell y'all boys something, man. We got that boy. I looked over, boy. Got Mario was looking at me, Phil Collins looking at me, Samuel Jackson. I say, hell no, man. You know, you got me that blue chew, baby. Blue chew, baby. I'm like, yes, JR. Phil Collins is behind me. You 100%. Boy, you know T.Y. Hilton gonna come in and put no around the bench. He said he like, I got the volleys on there. I said, yes, Simi Fehoko is injured.
He is,
and we're gonna have to rely on T.Y. Hilton. Absolutely, JR.
He's our Michael Irvin, fam.
He's our Michael Irvin, man. All right, chat. What y'all got? What y'all got? Shouts out to John G from DMV Fanatic. Y'all go over there, check his content out. Good dude. Good call. All right, if we ain't got a Marcus Harrison quote, I'll just take a couple questions from the chat. What y'all got? Anything? If y'all ain't got nothing, we'll just clock out.
Yeah, they're cracking up right now. Yeah, I ain't seen too many. Maybe we'll get one that just came in at the end. Nope.
Hey, if y'all ain't
talking about Freddie Gibbs.
We'll leave. Don't try me.
Oh, well, James said we cheered him up, man. Appreciate you, James. I'm glad we could do that. But you usually cheer us up in the chat, man, with your energy.
Yep. What do we do with no Hankins? Run Bo, Neville, and Osa, like we've been doing. Carlos is going to be a guy. We good.
Roshan said our best packages are the utilization of the tight ends and running backs. I would tend to agree, and because they still haven't addressed the other, the 11. And we didn't see much of it, Voch. I mean, you got the film. Did you see a whole lot of the creativeness out of the run game and out of the tight end packages?
And passing, no. And it's crazy, man, because like Kellen Moore do something fantastic for a week and we don't see none of that shit again. I'm like, look, I almost feel ignorant for the idea that, oh man, we got this new world where CeeDee Lamb gonna be moving around before every single play. Nah.
Yeah, I'm at the point, bro. If we do something nice like that week, I'm not even going to pretend like it's going to happen the next week. Because I'll be pumping it up. Yeah, we got them 4 tight ends every week now, baby. You saw what he did against the Bears? Bro, we ain't ran that shit since. I don't recall it.
We ain't seen 14 personnel since, man.
We did, but we didn't do it consistently.
But it ain't fun. It ain't fun. You know what I mean? They running the jumbo shit. I want to see the empty 14 personnel shit.
They ran it one time for like 3 yards and said, all right, that's enough.
All right, that's like we good. Somebody asked, did I make the fantasy football playoffs? I told Will Steele this story prior to going in here. Voch been dealing with injuries all year in my fantasy football league. You know what I'm saying? Dak got hurt. Jamar Chase got hurt. Javonte Williams in Denver was supposed to be a guy that I was going to play, but they running back fucking committed him, and then he got hurt. And I just had a terrible, terrible year just trying to build pieces and get everything back right. You know what I'm saying? But I ended up like 6-6, and I had one game to qualify for the 6th seed in my playoff or whatever, right? So this last playoff week, right? I got a lot of Cowboys on my squad, but fucking Cowboys are great. I got Dak, I got Dalton Schultz, I got CD, I got Cowboys defense. Normally I get big points out of those 4 players. God damn it, everybody with a star on their helmet did horrifically last week. So I probably scored like 130 some points. The dude behind me probably had like 120. And all he needed was like 15 points to beat my ass. I'm like, all right, dog, it might be a wrap. Let's see who he got. He had Marquise Hollywood Brown, Ramondre Stevenson. I'm like, this motherfucker finna get these 15 points with just Stevenson. Then let alone the fact that they targeting the shot of Hollywood Brown. Chat. I don't believe in injury I don't glamorize injury. And I'm just knocking on wood for our guys. Kyler Murray gets hurt on the 3rd play of the goddamn drive. Colt McCoy can't hit Hollywood Brown to save his life. Ramondre Stevenson gets hurt 3rd drive or something like that. He's out for the rest of the game. Pierre Strong and the other Harris kids start tearing shit up. Voch made the fantasy playoffs by the skin of my elbow. So yes, I made the goddamn fantasy football playoff, and I'm goddamn beast. I'm gonna tell that shit when I get there, because everybody gonna be healthy. Jamar Chase is back, and we good to go. With that being said, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate you for asking too, by the way. There's been a lot of drama with my fantasy team all year, so I appreciate you for keeping up with that. But hey man, with that being said, love y'all to pieces, love y'all to pieces. Like I said, the next episode of Patreon Live, we're gonna be breaking down the offensive line. That could either be today, tonight, or tomorrow. So run over there, subscribe, and cut your notifications on, and we will see. But besides that, though, follow me on my social medias at Voch Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI, and my non-football platform is twitch.tv/Voch Lombardi. We're gonna get active over there. Hang tight. It's gonna be after football season, during draft season, right around that time. Then if you want to follow Will Steele, his great work on social media is not Instagram, but on his Twitter or whatever. Skywalker Steele, SKYWALKERSTEELE. And check him out in the morning on A to Z Dallas on YouTube around 8:30 or so. He'll take you all the way to 10 o'clock. Appreciate you, sir, for being my point guard.
Appreciate
everybody else. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Wilson, Peace Weeski. Until tomorrow at 3, we're gonna break down the Jaguars offense. Them fuckers good, Will Steele. Volume.
Beats Planet.